Is Bloomberg. David?
Thank you very much, Mark. 1 week ago, President Trump laid out his plan to bring soaring drug prices back to earth, as he put it. And in previewing the president's plans, his Secretary of Health and Human Services promised fundamental change.
And some of them are going to be some very disruptive, changing of the entire system concepts that we're going to be laying out there, saying we need to have a national debate and discussion about a complete reform of the incentives and approaches in this drug channel system.
We welcome now one of the best qualified members of Congress to put the president's overall plan into some context. Congressman Buddy Carter is a Republican of Georgia. He sits on the House Energy and Commerce Committee, and Congressman Carter is the only pharmacist in the United States Congress, so he knows about drugs. Thank you, Mr. Congressman. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So I want to quote actually from an analyst that we have at Bloomberg Intelligence who said that actually instead of a fundamental change, this was actually mandating some changes on the margin that we think the industry was moving toward anyway. Do you think that this plan that the president put forward was a fundamental change for the healthcare system?
Well, the devil is in the details, and as we get more into the implementation, then we'll see just how much impact this can have. But I can tell you he is on the right track, and I honestly believe that the president gets it. He understands that Americans are suffering from this. I've seen it firsthand. I've seen seniors have to make a decision at the counter on whether they're going to buy medicine or whether they're going to buy groceries. I've seen mothers in tears because they couldn't afford medications for their children. You know, through my years of practice in pharmacy, I've seen nothing short of miracles come out of research and development. But if those medications that are truly miraculous, if they're not accessible, if they're not obtainable, then they do the patients no good whatsoever. That's why we've got to address this about prescription drug pricing.
So, Congressman, let's go a little bit into those details that the devil is in. Let's talk about pharmacy benefit managers, because that's one thing that the industry, parts of the industry is focused on. Also, the White House to some extent has, saying that there really is something going on there with the rebate system. From your experience as a pharmacist, is that a substantial problem? Is that soaking money out of the system that should be in patients' pockets?
No question about it. PBMs, pharmacy benefit managers, bring no value whatsoever to the system. All they do is increase prices. If you look at their mission statement, it will say, we control drug prices. We help to lower drug prices. Well, how's that working out? It's not working out well at all. The most immediate, most significant impact that we can have on prescription drug pricing is to have transparency within the pricing model, is to have transparency with the PBMs. I'm telling you, they are taking these rebates. They are not getting to the patient. The PBMs are pocketing them. Take, for example, that 3 PBMs control almost 80% of the market. The #1 PBM, Caremark, had gross revenues in 2016 that exceeded that of Ford Motor Company, Pfizer Pharmaceutical, and McDonald's added together.
Okay. So what do you think about the White House's plan to consider those PBMs as fiduciaries that need to put their clients' financial interests ahead of their own? Do you think that that's a good idea?
Absolutely. There's no question about it. We need to eliminate them altogether. They bring no value to the system whatsoever. What they're doing is that they're coming up with formularies, and they're actually holding the pharmaceutical manufacturers hostage, saying that unless you give us a rebate, we're not going to let you on our formulary. Well, the higher the drug goes, because they operate on percentages, the higher the price of the medication, the more the PBMs make.
So what parts of President Trump's plans can be taken out by just doing regulation and overhauling regulation, and what does Congress need to do in terms of those plans?
Well, there's a lot that the president can do and that HHS can do through administrative processes and through regulation. There are things we need to do legislatively. I've got a bill now. Did you know that your pharmacist cannot tell you that if you pay cash for a medication that it actually will save you money rather than paying your copay? It's known as a gag clause. What these companies, these PBMs do is they say, you can't offer that information. If you do, then we'll kick you out of our system, or we'll penalize you. That is ludicrous. My legislation addresses that and makes that illegal.
So, Congressman, and finally, I want to turn to something slightly different, only because it is right in the news right now. Just as we've been on the air, we've learned that the agriculture bill has been defeated, which could wreak havoc, as you know, with a lot of farmers across the country. Where are you on that bill, and is it going to get passed?
I voted to pass it today, and I will continue to support it. We've got to take care of our farmers. The American farmer feeds the world, and we've got to make sure that they're taken care of. This is just a momentary delay, if you will. The Speaker has asked for reconsideration of the vote. That was postponed. We'll get the intricacies of what we need to get worked out. That'll be done, and next week we'll come back and we'll get the Farm Bill passed.
Oh, so you are expecting the House to pass the Farm Bill next week with some tweaks to it, or do you expect the Senate, which is also working on the Farm Bill, to take the lead here now that today's vote has failed?
Well, it could be either way. My hope is that the House version, of course, will be passed. And I know you find this hard to believe, but there's a lot of politics involved in this. There are issues not even related to the Farm Bill, i.e. immigration and DACA and what we're going to do with that. So, you know, this is just it's just a little bit of an internal struggle, but it's a momentary delay. It'll be resolved.
Okay, Congressman, thank you so much for your time today. Great talking with you. That's Congressman Buddy Carter, Republican of Georgia, who sits